see how it goes. But I want to talk about centre-back partnerships, Goffey, because Toby Alderweireld has left Spurs, gone to Qatar with a nice big fat contract, I would imagine, Goffey.
Can't blame him.
No?
No, I can't blame him. How old is he now, Toby? 31, 32?
He's getting on, but I'd still say... Look,
It's his last contract, and if he's on that, what you were saying, he probably thinks, you know something, I was in and out last year, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Time to go and have a nice life.
But do you go, how easy and quickly do you go from, Spurs to then go to play sort of farmers leagues? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I've no idea, but all I know he's been a good performer for Tottenham, and he was part of a back four that was pretty special. Walker, Alderweireld, Vertonghen and Rose, for me, those four, all at their peak, were fantastic.
Yeah, and look, the big, obviously, talking debate for me was Toby and Vertonghen as a centre-back partnership. And obviously when I saw it today and I see that he'd left, it got me thinking about the best partnerships ever in the Premier League. And there's been a lot of great partnerships. We know that. You've got your Terry Carvalho's, Adams, Keown, Rio, Vidic. You talk about all of them. But
you can say it, Campbell. He was pretty good.
Yeah, Sol Campbell, Kolo Touré. You have to put them in there. It's hard for me as a Spurs fan, but obviously a great player. But Carragher and Agger. You've gone quiet.
I'm not going on that.
You've gone quiet on me, no?
No, I'm not going on that one. I think Terry and Carvalho were sensational for Chelsea. They really, really were. And then Vidic and Rio. I find it hard to look beyond them. There has been some good partnerships, but those two, for me, were the best.
I think when you look at Toby and Vertonghen, we didn't win anything as trophies, but you can't then say, all right, well, they can't be in there. They can't be in the talking point.
They're up there.
Because it's almost like saying, well, Harry Kane's not a great striker because he hasn't won anything. You wouldn't say that. For me, Toby and Vertonghen go in my top 5 Premier League partnerships because they had a period of time where Tottenham wasn't spending big money and had a great side, were consistently in the Champions League and weren't conceding goals. So I have to put them in there in my top 5. And I just don't know whether Spurs are going to see a back four like that in a long, long time. Because when we look at the players that we're signing now, I mean, we've got Joe Rodon. Looks like we're signing Romero. But I just don't know. Maybe we underappreciated how good that back four was.
So. I probably do. And that's what we're saying. And when we're talking about, earlier on in the show, when we're talking about Ben White going to Arsenal, that's what they're in for at this moment in time. That sort of player, playing a little bit over the odds, 3 years to go on his contract. They're hoping, but he's going to come through and be an outstanding player. He's a good player now, isn't he? A good player, getting in the England squad. He can go on to be even better, playing at a club like Arsenal. They can't go out and pay the wages they're going to pay the real elite centre-backs. Manchester United can. And they need to get a solid defence, don't they?
Who has a better season, Spurs or Arsenal next season, Goffey? What do you think?
Oh dear me, that is an hard call, that, for me. Because there's Kane still, we don't know what's happening with him, and on Arsenal front, I mean, they're on about saying Ramsdale from, aren't they? He won't even. He'd probably come as number 2.
Yeah,
right.
Spend 30 million on number 2.
You brought in a good player, Ben White. He'll start sort of alongside Gabriel. They've got in a defensive midfielder, haven't they? I think they've signed one. Another left back, which is not going to start because they've got Tierney, and they're looking to sign Tammy Abraham from Chelsea. If they get him, I think that'd be a good signing. But is he better than Lacazette?
Oh, no, of course he's not.
And it looks like they're trying to get out a few players, Arsenal. So you're looking at Lacazette, you're looking at Bellerin, you're looking at Xhaka, you're looking at Torreira. There's quite a few players that could be on the way out there.
How far are Arsenal and Tottenham away from a top 4?
Kane decides a lot of that. If Kane goes, I think the miles off.
If he goes, are Spurs 5 years off getting in a top 4 again?
Well, that's what the manager said. Ryan Mason said last year they're 5 years behind Manchester City, didn't he? And if they lose Kane, what are they 7 years behind? I don't know. I think if he goes, he's going to want money for him. But realistically, I think he needs players.
Yeah.
I think he needs players. And if it means he gets if he does go to Manchester City and he gets 3 or 4 Manchester City players, they're all top draw players there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
I think they need that. They need that more than the money, Tottenham. So it's a big few weeks for Tottenham.
Oh, it's massive, and you know what? They're doing some decent business. The signings that they've seen, they've brought in. It looks like they're getting rid of some deadwood as well. I'm liking what they're doing at the minute, Spurs. So maybe it might be a decent season. I was expecting, top 6 would be a massive stretch
Some
for
good
us.
teams out there.
There's some good sides, aren't there?